All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rose Balanuma, and I'm the Student Governance Association President. And today is our first town hall meeting. So to begin, we'll have our call to order, where I'll ask the Student Governance Association executive officers and other members to introduce themselves to the community college. Next slide, please. Roll call.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joan Belabanim. I'm the Student Governance Association Vice President.
Hi, everyone. My name is Flavin Sangwan. I'm the Student Governance Association Treasurer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the Student Governance Association Senator for Academic Affairs.
All right, before we proceed with the action items, I would like to thank our special guests for coming to our meeting today, Dr. Clayton Riley, Executive Vice President of the Provost, Executive Vice President and Provost, Ms. Catherine Camp, Interim Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Foreman, Dean of Student Success and Engagement, Ms. Laura Ellsworth, Associate Dean of Professional Studies and Community Education, Ms. Natalie Webb, Associate Dean Health, Wellness, and Hospitality, and Ms. McIntosh, our Program Director of Student Engagement and Leadership. Here are some meeting guidelines for you, the audience. You can use the chat feature for comments and response to questions, but if you have any specific questions, please use the Q&A feature because that's how we'll answer your questions. Thank you. All right. Can I get someone to make a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting?
I make a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting.
Does someone second that motion?
I second that motion.
All right, if we have no oppositions. So to start, we'll have the SGA President's Report. So on September 10th, 2020, I attended the Board of Trustees meeting. I provided an update on some of the events the SGA has held, such as the student mixer and the convocation. And then on September 14th, I also attended a college-wide forum meeting. As of right now, we are working on filling vacancies for college-wide forum senators. The requirements include taking a minimum of 6 credits at PGCC this semester, having a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher, and being available from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. So if you're interested, please email OSEL office, and that email will be put in the chat. And yeah, that's our priority as of right now as SGA. We're trying to fill those positions because some things cannot get done without having that quorum. We need a student to be a senator for college-wide forum. Next is I attended the Maryland Higher Education Commission meeting on September 19th. Throughout this meeting, we talked about how we need to fill positions on our council and how we'll be voting on them for during the next 2 meetings. For those of you guys who don't know what MHEC is the Maryland Higher Education Association, and the purpose of MHEC is to advise the Governor and General Assembly on statewide higher education policies and to conduct planning for higher education. It is composed of student leaders from every college in the state of Maryland, community colleges, four-year institutions, and private colleges, and we meet once a month on Saturdays to discuss issues that need to be addressed statewide for colleges. So during this meeting, we just talked about filling elected positions and how we have not yet found a new student commissioner. And the previous commissioner is serving that position until it is filled. Lastly, we are working on filling the SGA ambassadorship program and street team and other vacancies. So if you're interested in becoming a student leader or being a part of the SGA, you can email OSEL or sga@student.pgcc.edu to get an application and to learn more about the different positions. You can learn about the day-to-day life for a specific position and just shadow to learn more about becoming a leader. This is your way on making an impact, you know, yeah. So the next report will be the Senator's report from Victoria Oganowo. She will be giving a report on the academic council meeting.
Hello, fellow students. I'm Victoria Ognowo, the SGA Senator of Academic Affairs. And this is my report for the town hall meeting. I attended the Academic Council meeting on September 10. During the meeting, an issue was raised concerning office hours and Blackboard Collaborate. For now, Blackboard Collaborate is the way students can interact with their professors virtually. And if a professor refuses to hold office hours, students should contact the department chair. Students can also contact the Student Governance Association at sga@students.pgcc.edu if any problem arises. Underachievement of PGCC students and completion rate was also discussed in the Academic Council meeting, which leads us to the Student Equity and Success Project. The college will be embarking on a study to gain a better understanding of student experiences here at Prince George's Community College. The goal is to ensure that the needs of the students are being fulfilled in order to ensure our success. At least 500 students are needed to participate in this study. Please respond when you receive emails about the study, as your information will be used to improve the college's practices and ensure student success. For more information about this study, please contact Dr. Clover Baker Brown at bakercm@pgcc.edu. For the SGA, a student at large is needed to serve on the Academic Council. These students can be an ambassador for the SGA and must be able to attend the Academic Council meetings by 3 to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Thursday of the month. Please contact the SGA for more information about this. There are many available services in the college to ensure student success. The college aims to be a center for innovations in learning, community engagement, and strategic partnerships that inspire educational, career, and personal success, and there are available resources for this. The college has provided better ways to better satisfy our students virtually and strives to look for even better ways to do this. Some of the resources available at the college are the library, tutoring services, the writing centers. The college library is still open online. You're able to connect with librarians and access online library resources. You can even chat with a librarian online and ask for help regarding learning and research from home. For more information, please go to library.pgcc.edu on your website. Tutoring services and writing centers are also available online. You can create appointments with professors for various courses. You can see information about tutoring service and the writing center by clicking the plus sign in the upper left-hand corner, then click web link, then type the name tutoring and writing centers in the top box. Or you can go to your website and paste pgcc.libguides.com/twc. The Math Learning Center is also available online. For more information about the Math Learning Center, please go to pgcc.libguides.com/mlc. The math tutoring is free, no appointments are needed. Calculator workshops, review sessions, and study skills workshops are also available. Please check your OWL mails periodically. Please check your OWL mails periodically, as this information is usually sent out to students using the OWL mail. Lastly, remember to follow the college's social media handles at PGCC-SGA and PGCC Student Life, and check your emails periodically, as these are currently the best ways to stay connected. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria, for that amazing report. Next action item on our agenda are other reports and updates from Dr. Clayton Rayleigh. It's an update and it's a TLSS updates and resources for students.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here with you all, and I want to welcome you to the fall term. I hope your classes have begun well. It's hard to believe that we're already into the 5th week of the semester already for those who began back in August. But again, I want to welcome you to the fall term, and I hope that your classes are going well. And I know still we're in this remote mode, which is a very different mode than we're all used to and that we all expected to be in. But again, our concern for your safety and health is paramount. And so as long as we still live under these conditions where the threat of the virus is as it is, we will remain this way. We are having a few classes come onto campus for their labs in the healthcare sciences and skilled trades. But again, most of our classes, as you experience yourselves, are online. And I also want to recommit our faculty and staff to serving you in this extraordinary time in ways that we can. I know last spring, we tried to be very flexible and accommodating because it was all very new for everybody, and that still is our position today. While it may not be as new today for some who were here last spring, for others it may be new, maybe the first time here. And so again, please know that our faculty and staff are here for you, and that we very much want you to succeed and do well in your classes, and that we will be flexible and supportive of you in any way that we can throughout this challenging time. To pick up on Victoria's comments earlier, again, we've got some great support for you with regards to the tutoring center, the writing center, the math learning center, and I would encourage you greatly and enthusiastically to make yourselves to take advantage of those services. Again, the staff there are a combination of faculty and other tutors. They're waiting to serve you as you need to be tutored and given support for your work in your classes. So I encourage you to make use of these tutoring centers, writing center, the math learning center. Again, we're there to help you. And we know that these can be very important supports for you. Also, the library itself is another great support. And again, all of these services can be accessed online. You've seen in the chat here some of the links to click on to get access to these various services. But again, I just encourage you to take advantage of this. Also, another great support are our advisors. And again, I don't see a link up here right now for that, but I'm sure on our website it can be found. But the link to get access to your advisor or to the advisors, the professional advisors, again, they can provide great support for you, as you consider going forward in your studies here and what to do next in terms of course sequences in your pathway. So again, the tutoring centers, the professional advisors, and not least of which, though, another great support is your instructor, your faculty member in your classes. And I very much encourage you to keep in touch with them. They and I have been in great conversation about being accessible. They have office hours through Collaborate Ultra. But if the office hours aren't at the time that it's convenient for you, then please reach out to your instructor and make an appointment with them to work with them outside of class with regards to any questions that you have in class. Your instructors are there for you. We're all here for you, and we want to support you in this particularly challenging and different time. So please take advantage. Your instructors are there. We've discussed with them that they should be responding to your emails within 24 hours. Weekends might be a little bit longer because it's a weekend, but ordinarily during the week, we would expect everybody to respond within 24 hours or so. If you're having trouble in your classes, and I see an item here, how to address academic complaints. Again, if you've got a problem in your class, try to work it out with your instructor. If that doesn't work to your satisfaction, then you have every freedom and right to appeal or to go forward with the next level of discussion, and that will be with your department chair. And if that doesn't work to your satisfaction, then there's always the dean of the area there that you can be in touch with. Please don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and your position. I strongly encourage you to be forthright in self-advocating. You know, if you think that the teacher has misread what you've written or misunderstood what you've written or misgraded, you have questions, you don't understand, please work with your instructor to clear it up on that level. But if it doesn't satisfy you how that conversation ends, then please go to the dean or to the department chair next, and work with the department chair, and you will find the department chair to be welcoming and interested to hear what you have to say and concerned to work with you to resolve whatever issue you've got. So I very much encourage you to advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid. We're here to help. We're not here to hurt or to punish, but we very much want to support you. I think those are the big things that I want to address right now. I know last spring, your student government representatives to the academic council raised the issue of faculty returning graded assignments prior to the next graded assignment being due. We talked about that at academic council. It's everybody's understanding that indeed, for these significant assignments, before the next assignment is due, the previous assignment should be returned in a timely manner so that you have time to learn from the comments that the instructor made before you turn in the next one. Again, I presume that's going to keep happening as it should, but if there are issues and questions there, then again, I urge you to go to your instructor and ask for the feedback in a timely way before the next assignment is due. And again, if there are issues there and that conversation with the instructor doesn't satisfy you, then again, go to the department chair. I think another topic of concern was with regards to canceling classes. And again, I think there needs to be, well, first of all, unless faculty are sick or that something extraordinary has come up, your instructor should not be canceling classes. People should be meeting as scheduled. If you're in a synchronous remote mode, if you're in the asynchronous online distance learning mode, there's a different issue there. But classes should not be canceled unless, of course, your instructor is ill or something extraordinary has come up and they can't make the class that day, in which case they should be putting something up on Blackboard in your class site there that announces that and enables you to continue on with the work without losing any momentum or progress in the course itself. But again, if you're finding challenges there with the regularity of your class meetings, again, I encourage you to raise that issue with your instructor, and if that conversation is not satisfactory, then to go to the department chair. In all of this, though, I would like to say that I'm always available for you, that if you have any questions or concerns, regardless of whether they have to do directly with your class or your instructor or the dean or the chair, if you have any questions at all, I am here for you. And so please make yourself, well, let me put it this way. I always have an open door policy. Now, we don't have any real doors this semester because we're not physically there on campus, but virtually my door is always open to you. And let me type in my email here. So I've just put my email into the Zoom webinar chat. Please feel free to be in touch with me with any questions or concerns that you have. And email me and I will respond as quickly as I can to seeing your email. And if we need to, I will work with you to set up a time when we can get together on Zoom or the phone if it needs that. Otherwise, if we can address your issue with email, that works too. But again, I want you to know that I'm here for you. I want to support you in your work here. I want to help you where I can to achieve your goals, both academic and in preparation for further education and your career goals as well. So I would be glad to take any questions. I've got a 4 o'clock deadline here where I need to get off to another meeting, but I would be glad to answer any questions in the meantime if you have them. Or again, if you want to send me questions to my email, I'm glad to do that too.
All right. Thank you so much for your report. And in
You're
addition
welcome.
to being in the chat, there's also a link to schedule an appointment with an advisor in the chat as well. Please use those resources and the links that are posted throughout the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Next action item is a report from Dr. Foreman on student affairs, updates, and resources.
Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. What I plan to do is actually share resources from the student support, student success and engagement. Wow, why am I tongue-tied? In addition, I will just let you know a little bit about what Student Affairs has to offer. So Student Affairs is a very large place where we have lots that goes on. Student Success and Engagement is just one of the divisions. We also have enrollment management, enrollment services, as well as athletics, student academic planning and career readiness, and I am forgetting, and student financial aid. So those encompass what happens in student affairs. But today I'm going to share with you the wraparound services that we have. Disability support services is one, and we provide reasonable accommodations and auxiliary services for students who qualify because they have differing abilities. We also have student engagement and leadership, in which many of you are familiar because SGA resides here, as well as the clubs and organizations and our publications. So the OWL newspaper and Reflections magazine. We have the Wellness Center, where we provide free and confidential holistic wellness services, as well as educational programming. We have the Health Center, the Counseling Services, and the Violence Prevention Center. We also have Veteran Services, where we are able to assist veterans who have benefits, their families and dependents, to help them reach their academic and career and personal goals. We're able to assist them with some outside resources as well, because we partner with the community to ensure that those who have served us well, we continue to serve them. We also have 3 TRIO programs. So TRIO programs are funded through the Department of Education, and they provide services based on certain criteria. So the Veterans Upward Bound program allows for us to provide short-term remedial education to those who have served and need refresher courses. So they don't have to use their benefits to take these refresher courses. We offer them to them free of charge, and usually they're in the areas of math, English, science, maybe foreign language, and it really depends on what the need is. We also have student support services, which is for low-income, first-generation students, also students with different abilities. And these services are free and include tutoring, academic and career counseling, financial literacy, success seminars and workshops, and cultural experiences. And then we have Upward Bound, which is for the high school students. So you may have someone in your family or a sibling who would be interested in being prepared for the college experience. So this is a first-generation high school student who will be helped in the areas of math, science, English, foreign language, and they also have tutoring and mentoring for these particular students. Currently, we are serving Central, Fairmount, and Suitland high schools. And then another one of our wraparound services is Diverse Male Student Initiatives. And this particular program targets the male population enrolled at the college and provides academic support, mentoring, and assisting in developing your personal success goals. And for the women, we have Women of Wisdom, and this program is designed to provide an experience for women at the college, and it seeks to enhance their educational goals as well as their personal and professional goals. And so they provide a holistic environment for women to succeed. And then for our students who are in technical-based educational programs, we have the vocational support services, and we help to build these students in target areas so that they are able to go from the classroom to the workplace. And so these particular programs are listed on the PowerPoint, and some have a little red asterisk. That little red asterisk lets you know that these particular services can use the Navigate system for an appointment, but we also have the link there to remote services. So any service that you would normally use while you are on campus is available to you remotely, and then this link allows you to go in and determine exactly how you can gain access to the team. We want you to know that we are here for you during this time of the pandemic where we are learning differently. We don't want you to feel as though you don't have support. And if you reach out to one of us and we are unable to help you with the program that we actually provide, we will do our best to find a way to assist you. Our partners in this are throughout the campus, teaching, learning, and student success. You just heard from Dr. Rayleigh. The deans, the associate deans are always helpful to ensure that we provide whatever we can to make sure that you have a successful experience at Prince George's Community College. Are there any questions? I don't see anything in Q&A.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Dr. Foreman, for that insightful report. Next is Ms. McIntosh with her update for PGCC All In to Vote Challenge.
Okay, welcome everyone. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and I am happy to announce that we're kicking off our All In to Vote Pledge Challenge. And so what that challenge is that we want to make sure that everyone who is eligible to vote are ready to vote. And so I'd like for you, all students, last Friday received an email that in the announcement about the town hall meeting, we also announced about the challenge. And so I would like for Prince George's Community College to win this challenge this year. And what that challenge entails is that our students and employees, but mainly our students who are eligible to vote, that they will actually register to vote if they're not already registered to vote, and that they will plan and prepare for voting, to vote in the upcoming presidential general election. And so we have a dashboard that is being launched, and the link will be posted in the chat for you to click on. So I want you to take that challenge today and to make a commitment to share this link with other students for them to go onto that dashboard, the PGCC All In to Vote, and that they will register to vote if they're not already registered. It only takes about 5 minutes. And then that they will take the pledge. And what that pledge is that they will actually vote. And also that they will invite other students and family and friends to also vote. Okay, so you'll have the option to receive notification, whether via text or email, to remind you of important dates And then the next step is to check to make sure if you've already registered to vote that, you're on the voting registration, so that you'll click. So plan for the election, making sure you're all set. On this dashboard too, you can request for your mail-in ballot if you like to vote by mail. And the deadline to do that is October 20th. Okay, and other important information, learning about the candidates and making informed decisions on election day. That's all on the Plan Your Election feature of this dashboard. Okay, if October 13th is the deadline to register to vote in order to cast your vote in this upcoming general election. The last time I checked this dashboard, and it just kicked off about a few days ago, University of Maryland, Baltimore City was in the lead. So I'm hoping after today, we'll see Prince George's Community College's numbers spike on that dashboard, and that we will win this challenge as we have done previously in the 2018 midterm elections. We also hope that you plan to vote early. And that early voting in Maryland starts October 26th until November 2nd. The next thing I wanted to announce is that there's a shortage of poll workers. And so we need poll workers, and you can volunteer or get compensated. In Maryland, if you sign up to be a poll worker, which is called an election judge, you'll receive $200 for each day that you volunteer at the poll to assist in checking in folks. You'll assist in overseeing the election procedures throughout the polling place, and you'll also help with setup and breakdown. A training is required for all election poll workers, and so the day that you attend training, you'll be compensated for that as well as $50. So if you are interested and would like to get more information, if you live in Virginia, DC, and Maryland, you can click on that poll worker interest form. Different regions have different expectations and different requirements and different compensation. When you sign up, we will send you the information based on the region that you have signed up to, you've expressed an interest in serving as a poll worker at, okay? So again, let's do our part to make this upcoming election a success. That completes my report.
Thank you so much, Ms. McIntosh, and I hope people take your advice and they go out and vote. Next action item on the agenda is Energizer for you guys, the audience. So I'm going to take this moment to ask some trivia questions, 2 trivia questions to the audience. And the way that you'll answer it in the chat. You'll give your first and last name and your student email, and then you'll give your answer to the question. And the first person to answer the question correctly will get a prize. We will send it to you and reach out to you for more information. So the first question is based on what Ms. McIntosh just talked about, and it is, what is the deadline in Maryland to request a mail-in ballot? I will ask it again, and it's, when is the deadline in Maryland to request a mail-in ballot? That's the first question. If you need it repeated, I think Ms. McIntosh or somebody can type it in the chat. The second question is, what is the name of the PGCC owl mascot? And it's the first person to answer with first and last name and your provided email. All right. So that's it for the Energizer. Next, we will be going on to the next action item on our agenda, and it is the introduction of Dr. Felicia Williams, our new president. She's the 9th president of PGCC, and we're so happy to have her here. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's here.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? All right.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So first of all, let me just say thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. It's exciting to be the 9th president of Prince George's Community College. and I'm excited to be here. This is a very unique experience, of course, to have the opportunity to take the helm and to get a new job and to do so remotely. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to meet you all and to greet you all even in a remote setting. And I just want you to know that we are still caring and concerned about you, just as if we were able to reach out and to touch you and to see you going across the campus. And that I'm excited for the opportunity to learn from you, to hear more about your needs, and as well as to understand how we can do better, right? I'm one who believes that there's always room for improvement, and I just recognize there's so many complexities that you all are dealing with. We want to understand it from your perspective so we can keep iterating and keep adjusting so that we can make this the smoothest experience for you, even despite the challenges that you might be undergoing. Let me also just thank our phenomenal student affairs team, our SGA president, and all of our student leaders for their good work and their deep commitment. You all should be so appreciative to have such solid leaders, people who are really energetic and are not allowing the adversity to get them down, but they're making lemonade out of lemons, so to speak, right? They know how to reframe a situation and make the best out of it. And I know that many of you all that are out there are doing exactly the same thing. So I just want to applaud our student leaders and our student affairs team for all of their good work that they continue to do, because they're really doing their work with you in mind, right? They're really doing their work to find out how we can best support you and how we can best facilitate your success while you're a student here at Prince George's Community College, and even beyond when you become an alumni. We're still concerned about you and still hoping for the very best. So I understand that this is a wonderful opportunity for Q&A. And I want to do it first where you all can ask me questions, and then depending on the time that's left, maybe I'll throw a question or two out there to the students and see what you all have to say about what's going on during this time and how you're experiencing the college. So are they going to post them in the chat, or is someone going to be doing that?
Yes, they're posting them in
All
the
right.
chat. There is a first question that was posted, and
All right.
it wanted to know when are the dates for the upcoming elections and when are the hours. So I did respond to that. Election starts October 26th through November 3rd, and the hours are from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. So that's the hours for the polling places for those who like to go in person to vote. But they can start casting their vote via mail-in ballot October 26th through November 3rd.
It's a great question. Everything I've seen so far is so helpful for me because I'm going to be voting for Maryland for the first time as well.
First time.
Yes, I did my registration application online, so I thought, okay, this is helpful. Don't want to miss this opportunity to vote.
Please don't be shy. If you have any questions that you'd like Dr. Felicia Williams to answer, I think she's more than happy to answer them.
I would love to answer your questions.
I know, Dr. William, a question that came up in the SGA leadership team, the students wanted to know how has the college been impacted financially as a result of the pandemic, and what actions are being taken to address that.
Great. So that's a great question. Clearly, the college has been impacted by the pandemic, and financially, well, clearly, we can see what's happening with the college shifting from largely in-person enrollment to remote delivery as a response to our need to maintain health and safety at the forefront. The other side of that is their financial implications, just like people are experiencing with their families and in their homes. And so I actually just sent out today a communication to the college providing a bit of an in-depth summary of where we stand financially and what the impact is so far. So let me just share that with you at this time. So first, let me just talk a little bit about how community colleges in Maryland are funded. They basically are funded based upon three sources. The first is state government, the second is county government, and the third is your tuition fees, right? Your tuition that you pay to be able to come to the institution. And both our state and our county, they get their resources based upon the economy, based upon things that we spend, and then the tax dollars that are collected from the expenses that we make. So as you can imagine, in a time where people are losing their jobs, in a time where we're not spending as much, the revenue for both the state and the county are not nearly as high. What we've been able to do for this year, for this fiscal year, which is fall and winter and then spring and summer, is we've been able to make significant adjustments to our spending. We know that the revenue is not going to be at the same level that it's been in the past. First, because we know that a lot of people exited their classes beginning in the spring, and based upon enrollment, we know a large percentage of students who would have normally started college for the first time, they chose not to for any number of reasons. So enrollment is down there. But we've adjusted because we, just like you do in your home as best you can, we've said, you know what, I don't need that Starbucks coffee today, right? I'm going to save that $5 for that cup of coffee because I can buy a jar of coffee from the grocery store. It'll last me a lot longer and I'll be just fine. So we're tightening our belt. And we've been able to successfully do that in a way that allows us to live within a much lower budget for this year, for this fiscal year. We've done some things such as also reduce our hiring. Right now we call it a bit of a hiring frost. So we asked the leaders in the organization to identify the most critical positions to replace, and all the others, frankly, we're just not replacing them at this time. Again, it's a way to reduce our expenses and to reduce costs. We're also being very, very mindful of things such as travel. Under these circumstances, it's just simply not something that is advisable. So we're not spending there with travel, and we're just cutting back in areas which we know it's prudent to do so. And that's allowing us to live within the resources that we have for this year. So we think we're at a place where for now, we're okay. And we're actually turning our attention to next year, fiscal year 22 and beyond, because the challenges will persist for a while. We're funded next year based upon what has happened this year. And if you look at the state level revenues, it's better than expected, but they are still down. So think of it this way. The state used to have $1,000 to divide by 10 people, and now the state has $500 and still has to divide it by 10 people. Okay, so doesn't mean everybody gets the same amount, but one thing is probable: almost everyone is going to get a reduction in order to get something in the midst of it, right? So that's what we're planning for, is what will the reduction be going into the next fiscal year, and beginning to think about how can we tighten our belts again so that we can live within that budget. In so doing, though, I want you to know our most important value is people, and that our ability to provide our core services to you all, to our students, right? We exist as a higher education institution so that we can provide the appropriate programs and services to students. So just know you're paramount in our decision making and in our thought processes.
Dr. Williams, we have 3 additional questions. The next question is, what is your advice to students who are struggling this semester?
It's a great question. I think what I would want to know is how they're struggling. So if they're struggling, for example, with navigation because they're in an online environment and it's just not comfortable, I would say be certain to raise your hand and ask for help. There are resources that are out there. There are tutorials that we can help you with. There are also people who are willing to get on the phone with you and to help walk you through some of those navigation experiences. If you're struggling because you're having a challenge with your faculty member, then please reach out. First of all, try to work with the faculty member. If that is not providing a resolve, then try to work with the program director and the dean. But be your own advocate for your well-being. Don't suffer in silence in times like these. Likewise, if you're experiencing, some form of insecurity, loss of income that might lead to food insecurity, an inability to regularly eat, or an inability to have a stable place to live, right? Any form of stress, right? This is a difficult time, so there may be forms of depression and anxiety and mental illness that might be confronting students. Please reach out to your advisor, contact our advising team, contact our counseling staff, our health and wellness team. But one thing is raise your hand, right? I think too often as students and frankly as adults, we just try to manage it on our own for a little bit too long, and it just begins to spiral too quickly. So I would say reach out early, because just know this is a very caring institution and a very caring team, and we want to partner with you for your success.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. The next question is, how do you feel so far on your first few months on the job? Are you having fun learning about PGCC and the students?
It's a great question, and if only I could say few months. I just crossed the 30-day mark. It's official at this point. I am starting week 5, and I am thrilled to be doing that. I'm having fun in doing it, and I'm trying to, just find ways to even make it fun for myself. I'm here at the college, and everybody else is away from the college, so every time I see a person, I'm just walking over to them and telling them what my name is and asking who they are. It gives me a sense of that. But I'm having a great time meeting people via Zoom and reading a lot of information to learn about the college. And this is just a fantastic opportunity for me to be able to be around the students, as well as some of the welcome back activities. So I'm really interested in finding more ways to get to know students and how the students are experiencing the college. But it's a great time. Maryland appears to be a great state. I get asked a lot of questions that, about how in the world did you leave the great sunshine of Florida? But it's really beautiful here, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm having a lot of fun anticipating for the first time in life ever experiencing, a real fall and a winter. But I keep saying to everyone, ask me about winter when it gets here. I'm saying that now, but ask me about it when the first snow falls. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, you mean I really needed some boots? So anyway, it's great. And people have been—
Thank you, Dr. Williams.
very helpful.
Okay. Thank you. Another question is, are you looking into turning PGCC into a university because of the high quality work that is being done here?
That's a great question. Well, I don't know what would be involved in turning it into a university, to be honest, at this particular point, but I believe quality should exist at every level. So the community college should also exude high caliber of excellence, right, in its teaching and its service to students, and in all of the operations that we do. So that shouldn't just be a function of the university in terms of what we do. Now, if it's because someone has, done a bit of research and recognized that I'm coming from an institution where we offered baccalaureate degrees, then I can address that. Because in Florida, the community college system has a state level permission to offer degrees all the way through to the 4-year degree. And so that's part of the difference that's there. But we don't consider ourselves universities. We're still teaching colleges. And that's not as doable here in Maryland yet, because simply that permission is not available at the state level for the community colleges to be able to offer the baccalaureate degrees. Let me just say that too, that part of why that works so well in Florida really had to do with demand. So just understanding the architecture behind it, it's because there was so much unmet demand. More people that needed to be able to earn a baccalaureate degree but not a number of spaces that were available in the universities, because the universities in the state of Florida were not growing their freshman classes. And so there became just this, you know, overflow of students who really needed an opportunity to continue their education. And so the data proved that we weren't going to add more universities, so we had to work within the existing systems. So we gave permission instead. We expanded the scope at the community college level and basically changed them all to colleges. So I think out of the 28, 27 just carry the name, whatever their regional name is in college. So the community isn't in there, in the name, but community is in, it's the norm, it's in the heart. It's still there, but it just conveys the use and the presence of the associate's degree as well as the baccalaureate degree at that institution. So not permissible here yet.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Williams. I noticed some questions are in the chat, and I just want to encourage folks to write their questions in the Q&A. But here's a question that's in the chat. Would you consider the possibility of adding a physical therapy assistant AA major program to the college? Especially with the new hospital that is being built right down the street, it would be ideal for those that finish the PT, like I said, physical therapy aid, continuing education program, right, and the clinical studies portion of each program.
It's a great question. So I am intrigued by the fact that the new hospital is coming and what that will bring. I would say that we really should do the analysis of what the demand will be. And, you know, we have a team, Dr. Rayleigh, I believe, that was on earlier, and Dr. Snowden, who works with workforce programs. And so it's important for us as a college to look at what occupations are going to be in the area, what industries are coming to the area. And certainly we should commit to providing sufficient training for those occupations that are going to be here. So it's one of the areas that we probably should examine to determine if there's going to be enough demand to bring up a program. I'm intrigued by a question that I see, or a statement that I see in the chat, which has piqued my interest, which is that students do not have the opportunity to provide feedback on instruction. Is that true?
They can, and now we've moved to it being done electronically through Blackboard.
Okay, fantastic, because I would say, oh, that's absolutely essential. So let's make sure that we, you know, help our students to know exactly how they can do that. So Jeanette, we're going to make sure you know how you can provide feedback on your faculty.
Dr. Williams, there's another question in the chat. It says, does the college still have a workforce development program?
Yes, it does. So workforce development in the sense of we have our contract training programs, we have our continuing education training programs, and then of course we have degree programs that are in associate areas as well.
Okay, and I think we have another question in the Q&A. Okay, yes, here we go. What are your goals as president of PGCC, the students and the community as a whole?
Oh, fantastic. So I don't want to be presumptive at this point, you know, day 35. So I think it's important to be a listener in this process, and then to work with the teams to collaboratively develop some goals. But I'm going to give you some sort of high-level things that I know are extremely important to me. And just in my preliminary review of data and the conversations I've been able to have over the past 35 days, what I think you know, there's opportunity to do. First, let me just say there is tremendous amount of headroom for us to improve student success. This is an institution that has the capacity, just based upon its demographics, to really speak to not only the county and the region, but really to speak to the nation about how to educate students who come from adverse backgrounds. And there's so much that we could and we should be contributing to that dialogue at a national level. So turning our attention to all the aspects that surround student success is critical for us. I also believe that we have a tremendous gift that we need to expand in terms of being able to provide workforce education, being able to provide short-term certifications that will help the adult learner to be able to recover and to be able to skill up and to retool and rediscover themselves, and then to quickly be redeployed and re-employed within our local environment. I also think that we have the opportunity to speak to the community in terms of specialty type programs that are in partnership with various agencies that are out there, and we have the opportunity to help them to share their particular skills and the particular offerings that they have in a broader way in the sector in which they exist. So to the extent that we can better connect with what is here and be responsive also to other parts of the region and their needs, recognizing that this is also a county where a lot of people live, but they work in other places. So we need to broaden also our sense of how we train our students and the programs that are available for our students. You know, some ideas around that. I think we also have a lot of headroom in terms of just being very progressive, you know, progressive with technology and our business processing models. I think those things are phenomenal. I think we have the opportunity to grow in our level of access. I'm hoping that in partnership, we can dramatically improve the education attainment levels in terms of students that are moving from high school into college and those that are continuing from college into the university. You know, there's no shortage of opportunity. We just have we have the responsibility to smooth some of the gaps that are there. I'm hopeful that students will see Prince George's Community College as a go-to option, that every high school student in this community knows that there's a seat here for them, and we want them to be here. Regardless of what their particular experience has been, we want to offer to them a different type of value proposition around the importance of education beyond high school. Such that it allows them to see themselves differently than what they may have ever experienced before, moving from one generation to the next to allow for increased performance, as well as what we hope will be different outcomes as it relates to poverty from one generation to the next as well. So there's just a few things that I see at this point as possibilities for us.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. There are two additional questions in the Q&A, but there is one that I saw in the chat. Wanted to know does the college have a workforce development program?
Yes, we just talked about, yes, we do have a workforce development program. So please reach out.
Yes.
Short-term programs, short-term certificates, as well as credit certificates, as well as at the degree level. We have a number of workforce programs that are available.
Thank you. The next question is, since we are virtual, will we have to wait until the school reopens to update our ID, or was there a way to do so virtually?
That's a great question, and I'm going to default to one of the other panelists. I hope it can be done virtually, but I don't know.
I'll take the question if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yes.
We are not doing IDs at all because of the system that we use to create them is really an in-person system. And at this point, the IDs are not used in any of the places that are open for a student to come to. So it isn't that we're not working out what the solution can be, but in the priority of order of what was really important, the ID seemed to serve the least amount of importance as far as access to services. Students are able to show an ID that is their ID when they speak with an advisor to validate who they are. And until we can figure out what the virtual mechanism will be to connect that and produce those identification cards, we will not be using IDs for the moment.
Kathy, may I add to that?
Sure.
So I had an inquiry similar, but it was to verify enrollment. And so there's another process that can be used for that.
Yes.
Through records and registration. So I just want to share, if it was being asked for that reason, there's another process that you can use to verify your enrollment.
Yes, and that's really done almost self-service and taken care of for you when you put that request in for enrollment verification.
There's also, it'd be great if there's a student who's asking about how they can make an appointment with an advisor. So if we could post that in the chat too, that would be great.
Yes, Dr. Williams, it's posted in the chat,
Okay.
how to make an appointment. Okay. We can probably post it again, so it's
It may not
Thank
be.
you, Paulette.
Yeah.
thank you.
Awesome.
Dr. Simpson, you posted it before. If you can post it again, that will be wonderful. Thank you. The next question for you, Dr. Williams, is how does the college plan to increase the number of people attending the college while we are online?
That's a great question, and we need your help. Let me just say, we need your help, because I think a lot of people feel like they have so much that's going on right now that it's difficult to even imagine adding college to it. I can understand that, right? People have lost loved ones in this season. People have lost their jobs. Family members have lost jobs. The idea of thinking about how to go to college just seems overwhelming. But it's really important, and I think, you know, part of the campaign and part of the messaging that we've been trying to get out into the community is if you've dreamed of going to college and have aspirations of earning a certificate or degree or credential, you can do it, and you should still do it. Pursue it at this time. It might be challenging, but it's worth the effort. Just like so many never imagined teaching an online class. I know many of you may have never imagined taking an online or remote class. But once you try it and then get into a rhythm around it, I dare say that for a certain percentage of you as students, you will enjoy it. In fact, you might even begin to prefer it. Part of it is feeling very competent in doing it. And that's what we hope that we continue to grow with our students, is their competency in doing it. So one is to get the message out. This is not just the way that we will learn for this season, but remote learning and digital learning will be a part of, you know, the future learning profile for so many people, because people's lives are so complex, and it provides that level of flexibility and access for students. So if you can help us, part of it is also sharing your story with others and encouraging people to just give it a try, right? And to acknowledge it may not be easy, but it's certainly worth the effort, because you're keeping your goal in the forefront and recognizing that you don't want to lose the momentum in achieving that goal. So we want to keep the message out there. We want to encourage students to participate in all the programs and services that are available to them. We want to talk that up as much as possible, encourage them to make those appointments with advisors, and help you know, to allay any concerns and anxiety that people might have about enrolling in classes during this time period. So we just want to encourage people that higher education still pays off, right? Getting a certificate, it still makes a difference. Earning those credentials are still valuable, because the economy will recover, and those will become the ticket for people to continue to grow in terms of acquiring jobs and pursuing other opportunities.
Thanks, Dr. Williams. There's a question related to that question, and then there are two additional questions. The general belief is that online courses are difficult, so it would be good to start an advertising campaign emphasizing that online learning, as you say, is enjoyable as well as challenging. Are there plans for that?
I think that's a
so.
great point to do, is how to frame online learning differently. I think there are a few messages that are out there. One is that it's difficult, and the other is that it's easy, right? I think some people associate the online learning process with more of the gaming industry and the animation, and don't anticipate the need for independent skills and management skills and being able to be very organized and keeping track of information in new and interesting ways. So I think that's a word to the wise. Thank you so much, Jeanette, for sharing that, because it's one of those things that we can begin to incorporate within our messaging, especially as we look towards the winter and the spring terms with our students, to say, yes, it's different, and it's also exciting, it's unique, and it prepares you for a skill set that's, you know, well beyond just the learning you'll do in the classroom, but really being able to maneuver in life, as so many of our life operations are now conducted in a digital form. Telehealth, telemedicine, right? Banking, e-commerce, right? We're digital in a global society, so online learning is just another element of that.
Thank you. Another question is, will more face-to-face courses be available for spring 2021?
Well, it's a great question, and it's our hope. I must say that, you know, besides the budget, the second item that is coveted most of my attention in this short time span is the return to in-person learning and work, and how we can do that without compromising the health and safety of our students and our faculty and our staff. So stay tuned there. We're really looking at what we can do and preparing to make an announcement by the end of the month, beginning of October, about our next phase of classes. And not only classes, but student-facing services. We do believe that if the positivity rates remain low and continue to decline, that it's important for us to bring a measure of those services back, especially for the students who really have lost the opportunity to continue their programs because they cannot be delivered in a remote environment. And it's also important for us to recognize that for some students, while the classes can be delivered in a remote environment, it is not the optimal learning condition for those particular students. And we'd like to be able to meet some of the preferences and the preferred learning modality for some of our students as well. And we'd like to be able to also return to an opportunity where students can receive some of those services in a face-to-face manner. So just know it's top of mind for us after safety. So the first thing that we have to ensure is that we don't rush into it, but we want to be responsive to an environmental condition that continues to show stability and improvement in terms of presence of the virus.
Great. Thank you. Another question is, can students with an associate degree be accepted to do a degree course in a university?
They can. One of the things that I am learning here in Maryland is that is not as easy as where I am coming from in Florida. In Florida, student transfer is protected because it is guaranteed. We have common course numbering. What I see that has happened here in Maryland is there have been a number of agreements that have been created, Prince George's Community College directly to other institutions about being able to transfer. And so there's good, comprehensive effort to help students be able to do that. It's school by school, institution by institution, and type of degree by intended degree at the receiving institution, but it's possible. And I can just share with you that I already have worked very closely with Dr. Darrell Pines. He's the president at University of Maryland in College Park, and Dr. Aminta Bro, who is the president at Bowie State, as well as Dr. Monica Goldson, who is the superintendent for Prince George's County Public Schools. And the four of us were already talking about how we can create a master consortium that really would allow students to move quite seamlessly from one institution to the next. It's possible now. We just want to make the process much more streamlined for all students to be able to continue their education.
Thank you. And our last question for you, I think I saw another one pop in, but we'll see if we're able to squeeze that in. And then when it comes to online learning, is there a place where a homeless or needy person who does not have access to phone or Wi-Fi can go that is open during COVID, during the pandemic?
That's a great question. So one of the things that I think we can do is publish a list of places where they have overflow Wi-Fi. So first, from the college, if a person is a student here, they can request a loaner device from our technology department. And then there are a number of places in the county that have overflow, what I'm going to call their broadband spills out into their parking lot. And therefore, a individual could, as long as they get to that parking lot, they have access to Wi-Fi. And so I am hoping that we will be able to cull together some of those locations and publish that to students. I have been told that the public schools have that overflow in their parking lots. Honestly, I know it exists here because frankly, I sat this morning and took an entire meeting from my car on campus to test it. So I did my first virtual meeting this morning in my car in the parking lot, and I was not logged on to my own hotspot or using my phone, but I was able to use the Wi-Fi flowing into the parking, from the building flowing into the parking lot. The other buildings that are likely to have it are your major restaurants as well as the libraries. What we are trying to do, also a part of a local task force that I'm on, is to get people to, and this is a risk, but a willingness to do it, to take off the security measures for it. So to make them open networks so that people can readily use them. Typically your library would have an open network, but as long as it's closed, it's not accessible. But if you can get to the parking lot of that library and then be comfortable with doing it, then that would be the case. So we hope to be able to publish a list to say where can people go, where there's free broadband access, and they don't even necessarily have to enter the building. They just need to get to the perimeter of the buildings to be able to do so.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Before I turn this back over to Rose Bell, the SGA president, there was a student who had raised a question earlier, and I saw clarification. And so I want to find out if someone can put in place in the chat. She would like the link. Is there a link where students can provide feedback about a professor, to a professor? If there is such a link, if you can post that in the chat.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This is wonderful, and I hope there'll be many more opportunities to hear from you all as the students.
Okay.
I would like to thank the guests, Dr. Williams and the Office of Student Engagement, the team, and our SGA for joining us for this meeting. I would like to adjourn this meeting if that's okay with everyone.
Well, before you adjourn, Rose Bell, there's some announcements.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So next SGA Town Hall meeting will be with President Williams again, and it'll be October 13th at 3:30 p.m. Please email in advance if you have any questions to osel@pgcc.edu or sj@students.pgcc.edu. And if you have any questions that was not answered today at this webinar, you can also email them and we'll get it right back to you. The library is still open online. connect with librarians and access online library resources this way. You can get help to navigate learning and research at our website, library.pgcc.edu. In the Student Equity and Success Project, you can provide feedback on the college, and we can help to meet your needs to ensure your success. Through this way, you can contact Dr. Clover Baker Brown at bakercm@pgcc.edu. Please follow us on all our social medias at PGCC SGA, and we'll get back to you. Scholarships are available. Please, please, please continue to check your OWLlink email. They're consistently sending scholarship informations and different resources for students to help reduce the cost of college and financial aid and things of that nature. Please review the scholarship criteria for the Apartment and Office Building Association and the Inspiring Leadership and Expanding the Promise Scholarship. All criteria are listed when you click on the application. The link will be posted in the chat. It's www.pgcc.edu/go/scholarship. Next, the Office of Institutional Advancement also has additional scholarship opportunities that you can view at the link below. That link will also be posted in the chat. All right. I think
Okay. And before you adjourn, Dr. Baker Brown had raised her hand and wanted to make a comment, so I would just allow that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Ms. McIntosh. Thank you, Dr. Williams. Thanks, Dr. Raley and the Student Governance Association. I actually raised my hand by accident. Sorry.
So thanks for joining us. And that's Dr. Baker Brown, the Student Equity Project. If you have questions about that, you can send her an email.
Thank you.
Paulette.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes, Ms. Camp.
Earlier students, Dr. Raley provided his contact information because we truly want your questions answered. Mm-hmm. And I was getting ready to put in the chat, but I was afraid it would end too quickly. There is an email that I see and my office team sees, which is helpful if I'm in a meeting. They see it quicker maybe. It's ask VPSS, ASKVPSS at pgcc.edu. So if you can't find what you need, you don't even know how to form the question of what you need, and you're not finding it on the website, or you've tried the information center, the main number is enrollment specialists who are really great at helping you find things, and they know lots of things. But if none of those things are working, please don't, as Dr. Williams was saying, raise your hand. And the best way you can raise your hand about anything academic related is to contact Dr. Raley directly if you've already gone through the departments as he shared with you. And if it's anything about support services that Dr. Foreman has shared, or any kind of enrollment process or something else that we can do to help you, that is our desire. So send your email to that, and I or one of my team members will see it, and we will get you connected to the person that can help you with that service or that support that you need to be successful.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, and Dr. Simpson, can you type that email in the chat if it's not already there? It's askvpss@pgcc.edu. Thank you, Ms. Camp, for providing that information. So I wanted to announce the winners of the virtual door prize and to give the answers to the questions that were asked. So there were two questions. One was, what's the deadline for you to request your mail-in ballot in Maryland? And the answer was October 20th. And and the next question was what is the name of our owl mascot? And the answer is Hootie. And so our student winners for this virtual door prize is Anika Pierre Michael, Jacqueline Murray, Samaya Davis, and Dominique Duncan. Congratulations, and be on the lookout for your door prize in the mail. Over to you, President Rosebell.
Great, thank you. Congrats to the winners. Now it's time for the adjournment. I would like to adjourn this meeting at 4:54 p.m. on September 22nd.